Thanks for joining Let It Fly Disc Golf, and in this video we're going to talk about your coil and how you can get easy distance. Stay tuned.
Let it fly into the sky, let it glow into the night, let it take flight, just slip away, it'll let you find your
Let's say
way.
that you're doing everything good, you're getting the nose down, you're getting some good clean releases, you're getting to your hit point, you're doing everything possible, but yet you're only throwing 250, 275, maybe even 200. This is something that you definitely want to look at and don't just skip over. So what I want you to do is put your hands on your chest like this. If you can, stand in front of a big mirror so that this way you can see how much you coil and how you coil. So for me, I like to stand here, turn, and I like to see if my arms are pointed towards the mirror. Now, if you feel like this is as far as I can go back, there's a couple ways that we can cheat this, but for the most part, what you want to try to do is try to push it as far as you possibly can. Now, we don't want to do this to the point where you hurt yourself, but believe me, if you get to the point where you're like, this is as far as I can get, next time, try to get a little bit more and a little bit more. When you stretch and you do little motions where you actually go here and then you turn a little bit further and hold it, come back to the same position and do it again, and then go back a little bit further and then come back and do it a little bit more and more. What you're doing is you're loosening up your body so that this way, when you go to throw off the first tee, you're not just getting to here, but you're getting to here. Now, coiling and timing are really, really important. They're kind of married together. So just really plain and simple. I haven't done a timing video, but we'll be putting one out pretty soon for that. But the idea is when we go to full coil, we want to make sure that our plant foot gets down to the ground. We're not coiling and then getting there, okay? We don't want to put so much tension on our body to say, hold this tension and then let go whenever I want it to. What we want is we want to be loose and then tense and then go, okay? So for me, I've had this problem where I think I'm fully coiling and I'm not. The reason why I feel like that is because whenever I get into a full coil, it does put a lot of tension on my body. And that's okay. The idea is we're there for a split second. So I haven't actually hurt myself or damaged myself, but I know how far I can actually coil, okay? Getting this foot turned back is also a key. If I'm coiled here and then I try to turn my foot open, it puts a lot of strain on my body, which is bad strain. I want to take a second to thank everyone who's been liking and subscribing on my recent videos. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. The winner will get a shirt, hat, some discs, and some other things as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, share this content with your buddies, and let's keep this growing. Put yourself in a good position like you're throwing a standstill. Get into that position, full coil, put your arm out, not back here, arm out here, and just feel what it feels like to feel coil. I feel a lot of tension back here. I feel tension right here. And that is good tension because we're not holding it for a long time. It should just really be for like a split second. Now, what this is gonna do is it's gonna generate a lot of power, especially if you can get your timing down. Really important. If you're coiling before your foot gets down, you're holding it, and so when you go, it's almost like as if you're just pulling with your arm versus getting that release. You could think that you're actually coiling, and you're probably not. So sometimes when I get here and I feel like my arm is as far as back as I possibly can, that's not a full coil. That is a full coil. So even though it seems like a major difference, it can be the difference between 50, 75 to an extra 100 feet. So make sure that you're fully coiling, and let's do a couple drills, but I also want to show you one more thing. If you have a broom laying around the house, take off the pole, make sure you put it back when you're done, otherwise your wife will be mad. But if you hold the stick like this, which is mimicking our hands like this. But stand in front of a mirror, face towards the mirror, and then just turn the body. The knee's gonna bend in a little bit. You're gonna feel a little bit of tension in your hips, but then see how far you can actually coil. That for me is my max coil. Now, for some people, you're probably not gonna feel the same tension as some other people. My brother, who is super flexible, always been flexible, but he doesn't feel some of the same tension that I feel just because I've always been unflexible, right? So for me, I have to go, yep, that's as far as I can go. Now, if your legs are standing still like a stick, that's probably as far as I can go, maybe there. But if you give your knee some movement, then you can get full coil. Now, we do have to get back to that brace, but that's where a lot of the timing comes into play. Now, I put this in my X-step video, and there is an important factor when you are trying to full coil. And what that is if you get your body turned back, and I'm trying to throw this way, this is not full coil. Okay, because what ends up happening is we're getting our hips and our shoulders together. That's not what we want. We need hip and shoulder separation. If I'm doing this, you are going to have a drive, and if you do have what is called lag, you can actually develop some form of speed, but you're cutting a lot of distance off. So the idea is wherever your hips are pointed, we want our shoulders to be fully coiled against them. We're gonna throw a couple discs. The first one, I'm going to try to throw it without coiling so much. Crazy windy day today, so we'll just see what we can do. All right, this one I'm going to try to just get a little coil and then come through. Moving slow, and I would say if you're doing this drill, or in this case, just practicing this out in the field, make sure you slow down so that this way you can catch the timing that you need. All right, here we go. Decent pull through, hit the tree, but that didn't go as far. Not to say that we're looking for distance, but it does definitely help when you get full coil. If you're comfortable getting that full coil every time, you can just slow down with your shot versus speeding up to get further distance. There's a lot of different techniques as far as maybe not coiling as much so that this way you can get a decent upshot looking at your shot. And if you think about it, that's what we're doing for an upshot, right? We're cutting off our coil. If I'm going for an upshot and I'm like, okay, I'm only here, that's probably as far as I would go, even if I did full extension, because I'm trying to keep my eyes on the target. That is not a full power throw off the tee, okay? That is not a upshot coil. We want to fully coil. And if you fully coil, you can't see your target. You can probably see out of your peripheral, but you still can't see your target because we have to get back. All right, a little bit more. Kristen's Guitar Grace. Now Kristen a lot. All right. A little bit more coil and a lot more distance. Okay, so that one went a little bit further than the other one because I was just fully or just barely coiled here. Even though it feels like you're fully coiled because your arm is straight, that's not a full coil, okay? The other important factor is that when we do coil, like I said, we don't want to lean when we coil. It feels powerful to lean like this, but you're going to end up pulling. So in this case, we just want to coil as much as we possibly can. Okay, so we're gonna coil a little bit more, see what we get. That's probably maybe my fullest coil. That was a bolt, a little bit max weight than my other ones. I'll give you one more. Actually, let's give you one on the side. Okay, so I'm gonna try to give you full coil from the side. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sticking around, watching the content. Share this content with your friends. Give it a like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Other than that, keep up the good work. Get out in the field. Let it fly. Peace.
Let it fly into the sky. Let it glow into the night. Let it take flight. Just slip away. It'll let you find your way.
This is where you want to end up.